All right, you guys, here we are with another episode of Silverback's Cooking Channel. And today we're making no meat greens. No meat, southern no meat green or southern vegan greens. I don't know if it really counts as vegan. I'm not sure, but we're making southern greens. So I just finished washing them, and you want to wash them thoroughly. I washed them about 4 or 5 times, and now, as you can see, I'm trying to pick the greens off of the stalk. You don't want to leave too much stalk in the greens because a lot of people don't really care for the stalk. Sometimes it can get a woody texture and like start to taste like wood. And so you really don't want to have too much stalk in there. I do leave a little bit of stalk, but not an entirely great amount. And I'll wash them, like I said, 4 or 5 times. I got these greens from the grocery store. And so even though you got them from the grocery store, you still want to wash them thoroughly. Getting them from the grocery store, I still found lots of mud and lots of bugs like lettuce aphids. I think they are lettuce aphids. And so you want to make sure you wash them thoroughly. No one at the grocery store is getting paid to wash these greens as good as you will wash them at home. And so make sure you take care of that. But now I'm picking them into small pieces that'll be big enough to go in your, small enough to go in your mouth. And so this is a long process. And then afterwards, we're going to get our water together. So once I picked all of the greens off the stalk and washed them again, I've started my water, and I have 3 cloves of garlic here. I have 1 full banana pepper diced, 2 large onions diced, and a little bit of green pepper diced as well. Throwing that in the water. And we're going to use a little bit of onion at the end. We're going to use a little bit of onion at the end. I kind of like to have a little crunch at the end with my onion. And so probably about 3 to 5 minutes before I turn the greens off, I'm going to throw another piece of onion in there. So we're adding some coarse sea salt. And just a little bit. Coarse sea salt, of course, seasons a lot differently than your regular iodized salt or whatever salt you may use at home. So just be careful. Then we have some black ground pepper here. And we're also going to throw in some salt-free seasoning here as well. So that's what I'm getting right now, some salt-free seasoning. And you can kind of go as heavy or light as you want with the salt-free seasoning. In my household, we use ham hocks normally. And so when I'm using salt-free seasoning or no meat, I got to have something to offset all of that flavor that I'm missing. And then we have a Tabasco pepper right here. And so I'm going to pop the top on the Tabasco pepper, split it in half, throw it in the water. And don't worry about it. If you want to take the Tabasco out, that's what I'm going to do because I do have a little baby at home. And so if you want to throw the Tabasco pepper out once the water starts boiling good, you can definitely do that. So I have the water boiling here, and I'm pulling the Tabasco peppers out. Now, I got these Tabasco peppers and banana peppers from an international market. So find an international market, and you should be able to get those. Now we want to add, once the water starts boiling good, you want to add the greens. As you can see, I left some greens with the stalk on, but not many. Not many greens had the stalk still attached. And when I tell y'all these greens turned out good, whew, Lord have mercy. So the scripture for this week is coming from Titus, the 3rd chapter, and it's going to be the 1st and 2nd verse. It says, "Remind people to be subject to rulers and authorities, to be obedient, to be ready and willing to do good, to slander or abuse no one, to be kind and conciliatory and gentle, showing unqualified consideration and courtesy toward everyone. That was Titus, the 3rd chapter, 1st and 2nd verse in the Amplified version. And so once you get these greens going, you want to just keep watching them. They're going to flow over the pot when you first put them in, but they're going to shrink down. They're definitely going to shrink down. So you just want to just keep your eye on them as they shrink down. Keep stirring them and mixing them as much as you can, and make sure that your greens turn out well. I think this scripture for the week was so profound because in today's time, there's not many people that are looking out for leadership, that are being respectful to people in the world, period. We have a dog-eat-dog perspective. We have a bitter sort of perspective towards most people in the world, and especially if that person happens to, agree with something that we don't necessarily agree with. And so I found it very profound for this day and age, and I've even hung it up all over my house. Here are my last little bit of onions. I'm throwing them in, and like I said at the beginning, this is going to be 3 to 5 minutes before we end. So you're going to see me mix them up a little bit, and then we're going to turn them off pretty much. So I'm mixing the onions in here. And like I said, you don't have to have this stage here. And that was 2 large onions for the whole pot of greens, 2 large onions. And that's because I believe the onion adds flavor. And so I'm about to, I've turned the eye off, and we're going to see how they taste really quickly. Please mind my baby. He was pretty excited. So here's the end result. We have just a little bit of these greens with no meat greens, vegan greens, whatever you want to call them. And we're going to try it.
We're going to have to do this when he goes to sleep.
That right there, set it off. Gotta set it off. You getting ready for Thanksgiving? You don't want to have too much ham in your greens or whatever? I gotta set it off right now. That's pretty cool.